In 1995, we celebrated the 800th anniversary of the birth of St. Anthony, with many extraordinary events, both of a religious and cultural nature. However, I think that the event that had the greatest resonance, the greatest impact, was the pilgrimage of the saint's relics throughout the streets of Italy, Europe, and the world. Here in Padua, we, the friars of the Basilica of St. Anthony, had decided that given the importance of the centenary of the event, it was vital to take at least one of the major relics to important Italian cities, and especially to Lisbon in Portugal, the saint's birthplace. But as soon as we began preparation for these trips, we were bombarded by similar requests from all over the world. The saint therefore initiated a journey throughout the streets of the world, which in over 30 months reached every continent. A journey that after a short break has started again and still continues today. I have had the opportunity of accompanying St. Anthony's relics on many of these trips, especially to Asia, America and Australia. And I bear witness to the fact that what struck me most was the extraordinary warm welcome the saint's devotees gave him wherever I took his relics. How could I ever forget, for example, my arrival in Timor East, where the inhabitants were still crying the many, many deaths caused by Indonesia's invasion of their country, or the procession with a huge elephant in Kerala, India, or the celebration of the Holy Mass in the presence of Australia's indigenous population, and the celebration before the Native American people of Pala in California. And what of the many visits to prisoners and even to death row inmates in the Philippines? Of course, all the relics that participated in the first great tour, which lasted from 1995 to 1997, and which nowadays continue to travel by car, ship and plane, are more than one. But there is one thing all these relics have in common. They are all parts of St. Anthony's mortal remains removed during the 1981 scientific examination. Of course, they have all the same importance and the same religious values, but among them there is one relic I am particularly fond of, and that is the floating rib relic. And I want to show it to you. There it is. It is a very small bone, and this is because floating ribs are the lowest and the last bones of the rib cage, and are so called because they are not attached to the sternum. I like to think that this little rib was close to the heart of St. Anthony, and so it seems to me that it communicates a lot of love. But this is not the only reason this relic is so dear to me. In January 1995, this relic visited the Carmelite monastery in Coimbra, Portugal, where it was venerated with intense faith by Sister Lucia, one of the 3 seers of Fatima. And then in the year 2000, the year of the Great Jubilee, it also visited the city of Buenos Aires. There, in the cathedral of Argentina's capital, His Excellency Monsignor Jorge Mario Bergoglio, now Pope Francis, blessed the city's devotees precisely with this relic. I believe that all relics have a great religious value because they are bonds of love between us and the saint, and ultimately between us and God. In a certain way, we all have relics at home. It can be a photograph, a letter, or a personal object that belonged to somebody we loved very much. but who unfortunately is no longer with us. For example, I still have the wedding ring of my mother, who passed away several years ago. It is so small I can't even wear it. I know it is a very common ring that you can find in any jewelry shop in the world, but for me it has a unique value. And when I hold it in my hand, I feel my mom close to me. That ring is a bridge of love between me and my mother. Nowadays, because of the many means of communication available, we all know the importance, the value of connection. In fact, when we are at work on a computer, if our internet connection fails, we can no longer do our job. If our mobile connection fails, we can no longer talk to our friends or colleagues. And if we lose our GPS connection, we feel totally lost. Obviously, these are only technical connection. Relics instead offer us spiritual connection. And so when I touch a relic, I feel the presence of Sant'Antonio next to me, and knowing that he is always close to God in the communion of saints, I can ask him for his help, for his intercession. In thanking you for being with me during this journey of discovery of the relics of Sant'Antonio, I would like to pray with you once again here in front of his tomb. Dear Sant'Antonio, model of great holiness, please help us to live as true Christians. Open our hearts to sincere love for our brothers and sisters, so that we may never close ourselves off from our neighbors, but always remain open to and willing to help them. Dear Sant'Antonio, please intercede for us with the Father. Amen.